I had met him through my cousin Sally, and she and Jack were good friends for many, many years. We traveled together on cruises, and Jack was always really watching everybody. He was a people watcher, and I learned a lot just from his comments and discussions, and that was the best part of Jack, I think, was just learning from him. Jack, I'm going to miss you. Especially, I will always remember Alaska, and you stopped when we were walking down a path, and I was all of a sudden just the rocks and the scenery was just so beautiful, and I just stopped and I was looking at it, and you stopped and was standing there, and he goes, "Well, what do you think?" And I says, "You know, you look at that rock, the formation, and how it was, and how it became." I says, "It's so beautiful, and it's something we can never, as humans, replicate." And that was kind of the start of us just being friends. And that's the best part of Jack.
Well, I was friends with Jack right when I moved to Bakersfield and started working at Bakersfield College. He was one of the first friends I made. And we used to play tennis, and hadn't seen him in a while, and then I heard about this, so glad I was able to attend, and I'm glad BC was able to do this for him and his family. For me, it's very interesting and not surprising to hear all the great things about, you know, what he did and all the people that he impacted positively. And so I didn't know a lot about, you know, his background and all. I knew some of the things that he accomplished, but it's great to hear from so many other people about him.
I was a freshman at Bakersfield College in 1961, and I ran into Jack Hernandez on campus, and I stood there and I looked at this really handsome man thinking, if this is a professor, I'm suddenly going to be very studious. And that is absolutely fact. Never got to be in a class with him, but I always admired him from a distance. He never asked me out, but I always wanted him to. That's my story.
BC is that's his place. That's his kingdom. And we miss him, yeah. Jack's a wonderful guy. To meet some old friends and to reflect on Jack's life, all that he did for BC, especially with the Levant Institute. Wonderful program. He was a good director, a great director.
I'm here to support and honor Jack. I have known Jack since I first arrived as the business manager here at Bakersfield College, and then he and I are passing across occasionally, even after I transitioned down to the district office as a CFO, and as well as when I became chancellor of the Kern Community College District. I'm now retired.
Okay.
And so, but I have fond memories of Jack. I'm here to honor him.
I have known Jack since 1993. I'm from Bakersfield, and I came to BC at 18 years old in 1993, having just graduated from high school. And it was one of these classic stories where I came here with one plan. Specifically, I was going into engineering. That was the thought anyway. And then I met the counselor kind of recommended that I take a general, humanities class kind of situation, and I took a philosophy class at her recommendation. And sure enough, it was Jack's class, and that was my very first semester at BC. And at that point, I continued to respect all of the math and sciences that I was studying and all of those professors, but I really felt myself kind of falling in love with philosophy. And so then I took a couple more philosophy classes the next semester from different professors to make sure that I really love philosophy, not just Jack, right? And lo and behold, I still love philosophy. So Jack inspired me to major in philosophy. Over the course of my time at BC as a student, we really got to know each other, not just student-teacher, but as a kind of friend, respectful kind of level, outside of class level. And then we stayed in touch, and lo and behold, I went to Cal State and majored in philosophy, went away to grad school, continuing philosophy. And then in 2004, I was on the job market. BC happened to be hiring for philosophy. I applied, and the rest is history. So Jack was my first supervisor. He was the chair of the department for the first few years I was already here. And then, once he retired from philosophy, he started running the Levin Center. We continued our friendship, and 28 years later, here I am, one of my very, very best friends. Like, he's been at every home I've lived in since college. He's been in my backyard countless times. He knows my mom. The list just goes on and on.
Because when I was a student at Bakersfield College in the mid-90s, I had Dr. Jack Hernandez for Philosophy 9 and for Bible as Literature. Jack was the reason that I didn't drop out of community college. When I didn't have textbooks for class, Jack gave me his desk copies and told me the page numbers are a little different, but you'll find all the required reading here. When I missed some classes, Jack took me aside and asked what was going on, and I told him about my plan to drop out and become a trucker. He told me this was a bad plan and promised that if I finished my general education pattern, I would be happy at transfer. And with his encouragement, I did, and he was right. I'm now a professor of English at Taft College. Jack wrote me a letter of recommendation when I applied. Of all the friends that I lost over the last few years, I think losing Jack hurt the most. We met occasionally for him to share his writing with me and catch up about his life, and he was a great friend and a great mentor. He was greatly missed.
Well, it's about my best guy friend, Jack Hernandez, for the last 10 years. I taught with him for 50 years and spent many a time with him and discussed our lives. So it's all about celebrating Jack. Just to see all the people that cared about Jack and to see the different sides of Jack that they portrayed on their presentations. It was marvelous.